Back to the second episode in the second season of my Malaga career mode. In the first season we managed to scrape playoffs but lost on penalties in the semi-final. But now we're aiming for automatic promotion. We don't want to worry about another playoff disaster. Before we get into any games, it's the best part of career mode, the summer transfer window. We have a max of 4 outgoings and 4 signings with an 8 million transfer budget before sales. We start our window off with a centre half, Juanma Herzog from Las Palmas, last season's second division title winners. But Juanma himself has over 1,600 minutes playing in the first division, so even though he's young at 21, he has experience and plenty of potential. He'll be a starter playing alongside Montero at centre back. You can also see him wearing the new kit I've made for this season. The perk of playing on PC with mods, I like to change the kits up every 1 or 2 seasons to keep things fresh. We also have a lovely new black and gold away strip. As you can see with our next signing, we wanted to get some experience into our midfield, so we've gone for Suso, the former Liverpool and AC Milan baller who's playing a bit deeper now as an 8 late in his career. This will make our new go-to midfield a 3 of Izan Marino, Rafa Rodriguez and then Suso. Also a shout out to his FIFA 17 inform card I remember using. We then accepted a loan offer for Ibanez to Stoke City, hoping he has a run of form like Bojan did for the Potters. We also received a few offers for players like Chupe and Aguidin, but the teams coming in and the amounts they were offering just weren't realistic enough to accept, and they didn't meet any release clauses either. We also accepted a loan offer for Cifuentes, and Diarra will be one of the 4 players we let go this summer. We just had too many centre-halves better than him. So Ibanez accepts his loan to England for a season. Diarra is then sold to the Chinese league for just over €1 million. Then Gabilondo is sold to Hearts. With Gutierrez coming through, he's going to be getting the minutes at right back, so there's no space for Gabilondo really. Then our third sale is Joaquin. We have a different backup winger lined up who can play across the entire front line, so I felt this was a smart decision to get some decent money for him whilst we still could. But before we could get any more deals done, our first game rushed up on us. We're away to Burgos and this is the lineup. Herzog and Suso both get their debuts in the first game of the season. It's also the first time we see the new black and gold away kit. I'm really happy with how it turned out. It's inspired by the 04-05 away shirt. An absolute gorgeous number and I think I've done it justice. Our first chance comes in the 26th minute with Suso rattling the bar after being sent through by Chupe. And in the 34th minute, Chupe steals it off the defender and is clean through 1-on-1 as he finishes with a low driven at the near post for his first of many this season hopefully. Second half now and Burgos have it on the wing. It's played in and Nino forces Herrero into a fantastic save at the near post. And that was it, a tight 1-0 win to kick off the campaign. A home match against Leonesa followed, where disappointingly we only drew 1-1. We decided to jump in and play our next game against a Real Racing side. Gutierrez, our promising academy graduate, gets his first start of the season. Late in the first half, Herrera makes a fantastic save, but Racing take the lead from the resulting corner after a bit of a bundle. Then early in the second half, Real Racing double their lead through Aranha's first time shot set up by Andres Martin. Then it gets even worse when 10 minutes later they have a corner and an awful shot turns into a pass for them to make it 3-0. In the dying minutes we managed to get consolation with LARRUBIA setting it up for a first time Chupe strike, but it was far too late as we suffer our first defeat of the season in a really disappointing performance. So we made a couple of changes going into our next game against Cadiz, with Montero and Puga coming back in, and Suso also starts against his former side. We start off really well with Izan Marino slipping Chupe in, who then squares it to Suso to put us 1-0 up inside 10 minutes. Suso's first goal for us, and of course it's against his previous employers. We then win it back straight from kick-off, and Suso gets an assist to add to his goal as he puts LARRUBIA in for his first of the new season. Then we concede a frankly absurd goal, with Tabatadze with one of the dirtiest touch and finishes I've ever seen to get a goal back for Cadiz. But Rafa breaks forward here after the half-hour mark and sets off LARRUBIA, who squares it into Chupe for a tap-in. Then in the second half we put together a lovely move, with Aaron Ochoa putting it on a plate for LARRUBIA for his second of the game. Full time it finished 4-1 to Malaga, finally getting a decisive win. Then we simmed our next game, which was away against Sporting, with an unchanged lineup, and we won that 2-1. Next up we're Eibar. Again we go in unchanged to try and keep this winning run going. The first chance comes in the 13th minute, with Marino playing Suso in, but he's denied not once but twice by the Eibar defence. Then it's quiet up until the 73rd minute, where Chupe plays in an overlapping Rafa, but he skies the best chance we've had in the game so far. And that miss would prove costly as we drop another 2 points with the game finishing 0-0. Our next big game in the league was Sevilla, away from home. They must be in an absolute freefall. I don't know how a club that big has managed to get relegated. But here we are. This is actually another derby too. Sevilla are another club from Andalusia, and their matchups with Malaga can get pretty spicy. Our useful habit of getting early goals continues, with LARRUBIA through isolated one-on-one with Marçal. He turns him and places it into the far post. That's 4 goals in 8 games for LARRUBIA this season. He really is on fire. We get our second chance of the game after the 20th minute, with Ochoa setting Chupe in and he bursts away from the defenders, driving it past the keeper on his weak foot. That's 6 in 8 for Chupe. Him and LARRUBIA really have been different gravy so far this year. And we're actually on a bit of a demolition job here. Aguilin plays it inside to Chupe, who gets his 7th of the season. I don't know what's going on with Sevilla here. We jump to the 70th minute now, where it's calmed down a bit, but we turn defence into attack with a Gutierrez clearance. Chupe nicks it in front of the defender and Aguilin gives it him back. He runs down the line and plays it across to LARRUBIA for a tap-in, making it 4-0. Getting really quite embarrassing for Sevilla now. Again though, it's our front three all working in tandem. They're a joy to have on the books, making this career mode really fun. And we strike again 10 minutes later, this time Suso getting involved against another one of his former sides, assisting Aguilin, who gets the 5th goal against the Sevilla team in true head loss. Nino is on for Chupe at this point. He links up with LARRUBIA, who carries the ball into the box and then finds a free Aguilin, who gets his 2nd of the game, lifting a finesse shot into the roof of the net. And when you think it couldn't get any worse for Sevilla, we're on the attack in the last seconds of the game. Nino and LARRUBIA link up once again, resulting in Nino driving one low into the bottom corner. It is 7-0. And that's how it finishes, 7-0, a game that the Malaguistas will never ever forget. But in our next game at home to Zaragoza, we managed to lose 1-0. We are such a bipolar team. And the next one was a big one, the local Eastern Andalusian derby against Granada, in which our goalkeeper Cifuentes is starting for on loan. I didn't even realise I loaned him to Granada, so I do apologise for that. But at least we'll get a good idea of what he's like. He just better not do too well. Granada get the first chance in the 17th minute, with Izan eventually getting a shot off, but our summer signing, Juanma, blocks the shot destined for the back of the net. Then we get our first chance, Suso sending Nino through, who scores in his first start of the season, coming in for a suspended Chupe. Then we have another defensive highlight, with Montero putting in a heroic last-ditch tackle on Izan that eventually wins us back the ball and brings us to half-time. The second half was really dead, but in the literal last seconds, the Granada striker is through one-on-one, but he bottles it and hits the bar with the last kick of the game. Then we simmed the game against Cueto, getting a 3-1 win. And then around a month later, we found ourselves in 3rd, with our next game being against 2nd place Vallecano, another team just relegated looking to go straight back up. And this is the team I'm putting out. It's the main 11, but with 2 changes. Nino again for the injured Chupe, and Gutierrez gets a game in at right back. It's LARRUBIA who gets us off to a rapid start, setting a finesse out into the far corner. He breaks a recent goal drought, getting his 6th goal of the season. Soon after, Aguilin puts a lovely through ball into Nino, but he hits the post. But we do eventually get our second goal, with Suso and Rafa playing a 1-2, and Suso, who's had quite a season so far, scores a beautiful goal, firing one into the top corner from outside the box. Vallecano do manage to pull one back though, and it's completely my fault. I headed it back into the danger area with Gutierrez, and it goes straight to the striker, who buries it. It's after half time now. Marino wins a header, and Suso goes for a long range effort that puts a dent in the crossbar. Very unlucky. We get our third soon after though, with Nino holding it up for Rafa, who buries it on his weak foot, making the most of his box-to-box role. We carry on with our trademark of destroying big sides here, with LARRUBIA again using that finesse playstyle, making it 4-1 in the 66th minute. I'm not sure what it is with this save, but it seems to be so much easier against these better teams. We might have to end up simming more of them, or just changing the sliders a bit. But as you can see, it's Aguilin who's through now, who just waits for the easy pass across to open up, to set LARRUBIA up, who's now broken that goal duct with a hat-trick, his first in Malaga colours. And that was full time, an easy 5-1 win against a really poor Vallecano side. Here we had our first game in the Copa del Rey against Cordoba. LARRUBIA scored the only goal in a 1-0 win, but this game we were scouting someone from the opposition. Zizou Jr., Teo Zidane. He might not have the best potential, but if we get him in January and he has a few good seasons, his on-out potential should get him to a very usable low to mid 80s. Firstly, we sold Labete for €2.4 million. We work on getting his replacement in straight away though, going after Marc Dominic from Mallorca, a player who can play left wing, right wing and striker, the perfect utility man. We do lose Danny Lorenzo as part of the deal though. And then the man we were talking about earlier, I really like this signing, so I hope it works out. We'll get Teo Zidane in to replace Danny Lorenzo as a squad player. If he lives up to the hype I've got in my head, then he'll definitely be starting games. 6'5", great on the ball, just like his dad, and he'll suit our formation perfectly, giving him freedom to get forward. He joins Malaga for €5 million. Back to the action, we have our Copa del Rey round of 16 game against Osasuna, who actually have some serious players. You can tell they're a La Liga side. This is how we line up. As you can see, we've had plenty of growth in our young players by this point. LARRUBIA, Merino, Chupe and Rafa Rodriguez all up to mid-70s in overall and just really playing well. We start on the front foot with Izan Merino passing to Chupe, who makes space for himself and tries a finesse from range. Rafa Rodriguez also tests Gazzaniga from range, but can't quite break the deadlock either. Then Osasuna finally create a chance right at the end of the first half. Sherif puts it away, but it's given offside. It stays 0-0. In the 51st minute now, Dani Sanchez puts a fantastic tackle in, which ignites a counter-attack with Rafa, Chupe and Ochoa linking up, then to find Suso, who squares it back to Chupe to cap off a great move, putting us 1-0 up. Going into the last 10 minutes now, it's some fantastic play from Benito and a lovely ball over the top to Sherif, who puts it away, and this time the goal stands. Osasuna with the momentum now, playing it inside from the wing, and again it slipped into Sherif, who breaks our hearts, smashing it into the roof of the net in the dying minutes. And that was that. Our Copa del Rey run ends in the round of 16, losing 2-1 to Osasuna. But there was no time to dwell over it, as our next game was the local derby against Granada. A massive game to get the fans back on side. It was a dead first half, but late on, Teo has a shot blocked from the edge. He fights to win it back though, and thunders a close range shot in off the bar, introducing himself to the Malaguistas in style. Dani Sanchez wins it back here late on and breaks away. He's been absolutely fantastic this season, by the way, and still only in his mid-20s. He sends it through to Chupe, who is denied by the second son of Zidane on the pitch today. But we've done enough, and we win another Eastern Andalusian derby, a comfortable 1-0 win against our biggest rivals. In our last game in January, we simmed and got a 1-0 win against Zaragoza. Skipping forward a few weeks to Eibar at home, where we had a comfortable 2-0 win with goals from Aguilin and Rafa Rodriguez, setting us up for a very important run-in towards the end of the season. In March now, we find ourselves in second place, with Sevilla top and Vallecano in third, ready to pounce on us if we drop any points. We decide to sim our game against Real Sporting, and unfortunately we lose 2-1. Then we simulate a game against Almeria as well, and we draw that too. This does drop us into third place, with our next game being against newly second, Vallecano. We use our go-to lineup, except Gutierrez comes in for an injured Izan Merino. We start off in the 17th minute, with Chupe finding Gutierrez breaking from holding midfield. He ball rolls inside and gives it back to Chupe, who touches it forward and drives it in off the post, giving us the lead. Then not long after that, Chupe has it on the edge and finds LARRUBIA on an inverted run, who once again finesses it home with that trademark finish. That's LARRUBIA's 15th goal in what's turning out to be a breakthrough season for the winger. Then we use the jump to sim feature, but it backfires as Camelo pulls one back for Vallecano in the 38th minute. We jump back in for the second half, but in the 17th minute, Diaz plays in Camelo, who gets his second of the game, equalising for Vallecano. We get a chance at the death with Chupe, but unfortunately the keeper denies us a dramatic winner. And that was that. A tight 2-2 affair that irritatingly cements us into third place, dropping into the playoff spots again for the time being. Now it's a few weeks later and we sit in third. With 7 games left in the season, it will be a tough task stealing second off Sevilla and a near impossible task to win the league. But right now we have a game in hand and can go 1 point behind Sevilla with a win. We also can't drop any deeper than third as there is a massive gap behind us. It just shows how far ahead the top 3 are compared to the rest. We sim our game in hand against Valladolid, but we bottle the chance to capitalise again, losing. Maybe the lack of experience in this squad is costing us a bit. Next game in the run-in was Andorra at home, where we won 2-0. Then we dropped more points away at Castellon, all but confirming it will be third place and promotion playoffs once again for Malaga. So this is how it looks going into the last game of the season. Just a single point separates us and Sevilla, so of course we're needing Sevilla to drop points and we need to win. We've got Real Racing Club on the last day of the season and we've just got to hope for the best. Our first chance comes in the second half with Teo assisting Chupe, who absolutely slams it in off the post. It's not good news in the Sevilla game though, as they're winning comfortably. That does make it 19 goals for Chupe in the league this season though, a remarkable year for the young Spanish striker. By this point, Sevilla are quite a few goals up and obviously going to be finishing second. And to kick us while we're down, Racing equalise and the game ends 1-1. So straight into the playoffs where we've got Real Racing again. This is the team we've gone for in the first leg. It's been my go-to since Teo arrived in the January window. The main front three and the defence has been solid all season. As always though, the first leg gets simmed and unfortunately we lose 2-0. So we've got plenty to do now, 2-0 down for the home leg, but we have demolished some serious sides in this save so far, so there's no reason why we can't go through. In the 10th minute now, we get off to the best possible start, halving the deficit almost instantly.
Come on.
Then before half time, Teo picks it up and plays a give and go with Chupe before firing it home at the near post. That equalises the game now at 2-2. The second half was very dead, both sides nervous and cagey, so we'll be going straight into extra time. In the 100th minute now, super subs Dominic and Nino link up, with Nino going through in on goal and giving us the lead in the tie for the first time. Then in the second half of extra time, it's LARRUBIA's turn to give and go as he secures our spot in the playoff final. And that's the final whistle. We'll be taking Alaves on in the playoff final. This is the team we've selected. We've got Herrera in goal, Puga and Dani Sanchez at fullback, Montero and Juanma Herzog at centre half, a midfield three of Izan Marino, Rafa Rodriguez and Teo Zidane, Agudin on the left wing, and then our 2 best players of the season, LARRUBIA on the right and Chupe up top. First chance comes in around the 20th minute. Chupe makes an angle for himself and forces Riznik into a save. Nearly an hour later, finally there's another chance. Chupe again on the edge, does really well, but again, Riznik denies him. Soon after that, we win a header in defence, and it falls for Rafa, who hits it from range, but it cannons off the bar. I would have lost my mind if that went in. Even after our pressure late in the game, the first leg ends 0-0. Yeah, for some reason in Spain, the playoff final is 2 legs. Mental. We go with an unchanged lineup, really hoping these boys get the job done. It's Alaves who have the first chance as they score in the 22nd minute, Yusi crossing it into Boy for an athletic finish. They get another chance just after half time, Guevara with a lovely pass into Reback, but he puts it wide. In the 66th minute now, where it looks like we're running out of ideas, Rafa passes into LARRUBIA and he takes it, runs through and pokes it into the top corner. A massive goal from a massive player. 10 minutes later, and Alaves have opened up a bit. We take advantage with Chupe giving it to LARRUBIA, who could finish it off himself, but chooses the safe option, playing it across to Dominic, who recently came off the bench. We had a corner in the last minute, and as per usual, we try and find Juanma. He has no joy with the header, but that's the full-time whistle. Malaga finally returned to the First Division 9 years after their relegation. There really are some special players in this team, and I've genuinely loved this save so far. Herrera, who has been such a fantastic goalkeeper and captain, will lift the playoff trophy. The man has saved us so many times this season, and we've definitely earned our place in La Liga. We'll have a look at the stats now. And I mean, elephant in the room is Herrera somehow scoring a goal. He never got a penalty or anything. I just remember sitting in the game and like seeing he scored. Honestly, I've not a clue. I just love this team. There's so many likeable players. The defense were fantastic. Dani Sanchez and Puga were so solid, always quick and aggressive in the tackle. Montero and Juanma Herzog were the starting pair at centre-back, and they were unbelievable. But also a shout-out to Pastor and Murillo. Very, very capable backups. Gutierrez has also come in from the academy, and he's fantastic. He's built like an absolute unit, and he's so fast and so physical, and is amazing in centre-half, full-back, or even holding midfield. He's still only 19 too. He's got a massive future here. Izan Marino was great as well, one of the star boys already at the club in real life, alongside the likes of Rafa Rodriguez, LARRUBIA and Chupe, who all had great seasons for me here. Teo Zidane also looks to be a fantastic addition, already going up to 72 rated, growing 3 overall. He scored some really important goals since his arrival in January. And just look at some of the numbers from our front man. Aguidin not involved as much as last season, but still doing a job, getting 9 goals and 4 assists. LARRUBIA, who's no doubt been our best player this year, getting 23 goals and 17 assists. He's a joy to play with. And then Chupe, who gets 21 goals and 7 assists, after only playing 40 games as well. Another very, very good season for the striker. In the Player of the Season award, it was always going to be between 3 players, Chupe and LARRUBIA from us, and then Andres Martin from Real Racing Club. But realistically, it was always going to go to LARRUBIA. The man got 40 goal contributions in 49 games, with an average rating of 7.44 across all competitions. A truly remarkable season. We got 3 players in the team of the season: Dani Sanchez, Juanma Herzog, and David LARRUBIA. Chupe absolutely robbed, by the way. That's it for the second episode and the second season of this really enjoyable rebuild. I actually got more views than I thought I'd get on the first one, so I tried to get a move on with this video. Thanks guys, I'll see you next time.